on Senate Bill 210, the police pension bill. Can you talk a little bit about, your response to that?
Yeah, super disappointing, and I think Oklahomans need to understand this. It's a short-term win, right? So think about this for a second. I could have signed that bill and taken a victory lap, and yeah, look, I'm supporting law enforcement. Everybody knows I support law enforcement, but here's the facts of that bill and what it actually does. There's already, if you're a police officer, you get 75% of your income for life. When you retire, you get 75% of it, okay? They make some of the larger municipal law enforcement makes $116,000 a year. That's a lot of money where I come from. $87,000 a year you already get for life, okay? This bill took it to 90%. So now you're gonna get 90% of your income. The argument was gonna help with recruiting. Let me ask you a question. If I can retire right now and get 90% of my salary, that incentivizes me to retire early. If I could only get 75% of my retirement, I would say, well, Sarah, man, we have to replace 25% of our income. Maybe I should work for a few more years. Yes, she would tell me, absolutely, we're gonna keep you working. But if I can get 90% of my salary, it's gonna encourage me retirement now. So that's on the practical side. But what people don't realize is next year, guess what? The firefighters are gonna want 90%. The teachers are gonna want 90%. Highway patrol wasn't in this deal. They're gonna come back and want 90%. This is exactly what happened. There's a great national article on this that was talking about this exact same thing. California did this exact same thing. When their pensions were in good shape, they took them from 75% to 90%. Guys, if there's no limit on government spending, take them to 100%. How about 110? It's not fair that you have any deduct when you retire, right? Let's take them to 100%. The private sector can't compete with that, okay? And so the problem is we're going from 75% to 90%. So it's disappointing, but again, it's a short-term win. And when you have people that are politicians looking for the short-term win, looking for the endorsement from law enforcement as I run next time, then you vote that way, okay? And that's why Oklahomans voted for me, because I'm the businessman governor, and they know that I don't just go along to play the political games. And so I even think it's the best politics. I think Oklahomans understand they're too smart for those little flyers that get mailed out that say, oh, he's not for police, or he's not for this, or he's not for that. They know when you're fighting for them. And so anyway, it got overridden. That's the law. Now law enforcement, the municipal law enforcement, but more than that, the retirees, think about this. The retirees that wanted a COLA is like a cost of living adjustment. So let's say I've retired, and I retired 20 years ago. And when I retired, I only had 75%, and I get $45,000 a year. So that's what the salaries were 20 years ago. Well, occasionally I'd want a COLA. I want a 3% increase. Well, you can't do a COLA if the pension funds don't have the money in them. And so all the new guys that are 3 years from retirement or 1 year that are at the top of the helm that get to hire the lobbyists to come in here and pass this legislation, they love it. But all the retirees, they can kiss their COLAs goodbye for probably, I don't know, 20 years, maybe forever. Because if the pension funds take a turn like I think they will, then there won't be money for COLAs. And so anyway, short-term gain politically today, long-term problematic for taxpayers in Oklahoma.